I talked about a little bit at the top of the hour about August, okay? And I talked about how August is often not viewed as a great month for movies, okay? And there's good reason. There's great reasoning behind this. And it's one of those things, too, where it's like, I don't know if people, by and large, people that don't go to the movies like me every weekend, people that actually have lives and do things and, go outside once in a while, I don't think that a lot of people might pay attention to this. But I'll give you a little bit of a brief notation about last August, okay? And this is like I said, this is last August. It was actually a better August than a lot. I mean, we did have movies like Sausage Party, Suicide Squad, and Pete's Dragon, just bigger movies. But I'll just drop in a few movies, and let's see if you remember them. Let's play a little bit of game. You say yes or no to yourself if you remember some of these movies. I'm just going to give you the titles. 9 Lives, Pete's Dragon, Kubo and the Two Strings, Ben-Hur, Morris from America, Mechanic Resurrection, Hands of Stone, War Dogs. Any of those ring a bell? Those are some of the movies that came out last August. Now, there's a lot of reasons behind why August is not really a good month for movies, okay? And it kind of goes back to the same reasons why January and February are kind of frowned upon as well. August has the good fortune and the bad fortune of still being summer for movies, and you would think that August should be the last, the time when some like 1 or 2 big movies are coming out. And recent time you do see that, okay, you do see that happening more often. But really, I mean, this month, I'll tell you right now, there's not really a final big movie this summer, to end this summer. I mean, if you think about it, just kind of like a little bit, just going off record, I mean, this weekend, it really should have been the Emoji Movie, for better or for worse. Less said about that, the better. But I mean, going back, though, Dunkirk was really kind of the sayonara of the summer. Really, there's not much coming out now in this last month that's going to break any records, set a $100 million weekend. The only one that has potential to really be a huge hit, I'd argue, is Annabelle Creation. That is the upcoming movie. It's the upcoming sequel to the film Annabelle. That's the Conjuring horror movie spinoff. But I mean, I'll read you a couple of stuff. I'll read you what I'm planning to see, okay, this August, all right, this month. I'm going to review Kidnap. I'm going to review Detroit. Ingrid Goes West. Hopefully it'll come. Hopefully Ingrid will go wide so I can see Ingrid Goes West. Hopefully it'll get a wide release. Logan Lucky, the new Steven Soderbergh film, which I'm really looking forward to as well. And All Saints, which is a Christian drama. That's really about it. Glass Castle as well. I forgot to mention that. That's the Brie Larson, Woody Harrelson film. That reminds me strangely. It looks kind of like the bigger budget, more studio-friendly version of Captain Fantastic, which is a great film from last year. If you haven't checked that one out with Viggo Mortensen. But really, there's not much coming out. This coming weekend is probably going to be the biggest weekend of the month, which isn't saying a lot. You have Detroit, which... really, that's the drama about the 1967 Detroit Rebellion with John Boyega and Anthony Mackie. That really should be coming out in September. That shouldn't be coming out now. You know what I mean? That's a movie that's awards potential. That's a movie that has a lot of potential for awards, critical acclaim. It's already getting critical acclaim too, but it's coming out at the completely wrong time. This is not the time for a movie like that, a very weighty movie to come out at the beginning of summer. This was the weekend a year ago, whether you like it or not, this was the weekend a year ago that Suicide Squad came out. And good or bad, it was a big movie that made a lot of money. But I mean, even this weekend, you have The Dark Tower with Idris Elba, which I'm not going to see. You have Kidnap, which is that Halle Berry drama that's been delayed, Halle Berry action drama that's been delayed for well over a year in lieu of Relativity Media's bankruptcy. You have Step, which is that documentary that's coming out only in about 30 theaters. And then you have Detroit. And then next week, you've got The Glass Castle, which... it's really hard to kind of track what a movie like that is going to perform, let alone the quality. You have Annabelle 2, which I'm saying right now is probably going to be the biggest film of the month. Then you have The Nut Job 2, which is just like ordinary animated movie, you know what I mean? Which is probably going to do, I would think, similar along the lines of like the Emoji Movie, where, how many people even remember the first Nut Job? But then you got like The Hitman's Bodyguard and Logan Lucky, which would be lucky to be like major minor hits this coming summer. And then the month ends with All Saints, which I said before is a Christian drama. Birth of the Dragon, which is which is like this niche movie about Bruce Lee, which is coming out, directed by George Nolfi, which again is a niche movie that's coming in nationwide that's going to probably do disappointing numbers. And then you got a movie called Leap, which is an animated movie that they've been advertising for about a full year now that's finally coming out after a couple delays. There's your August. I mean, is there anything really that you're dying to see? I'm asking you. I was going to say, if you want to chime in off air, I'd like to talk to you. 630-637-8989. If you want to talk off air, I'd like to know what you're planning to see, if anything, this August. Your best bet's holdovers. I'm telling you right now, your best bet is holdovers. Just right now in theaters, I'll give you a little bit of a rundown for what really is worth your money, because there's quite a few movies that I would say are worth your money. Of course, you have Dunkirk, which is doing really well right now and is a good movie. Dominic Guanzon and I debated that last week on the show. If you want to hear highlights of that, you can go to youtube.com/moviewiz, Wiz with an H. Or you could go to YouTube, search up Sleepless with Steve, and you can find it right there. I upload all the highlights and stuff to my YouTube channel. So Dunkirk's very good, like we talked about last week. Girls Trip is pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't necessarily love the movie, but I think it's a lot of fun, and I definitely think it's a crowd pleaser. Atomic Blonde, I talked about at the beginning of the hour, is not bad. Spider-Man Homecoming is great, still doing decent numbers over in the theater right now. Definitely make time for that one if you can. War for the Planet of the Apes, very emotional movie, good climb. Hopefully a good climactic finish to that trilogy. Would like to see that trilogy come to an end right now. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets is good, not great. You know, it's all right. It's not particularly amazing, but it is worth seeing on a big screen. Even one that's impressed me right now, it's in its 5th week of release. It came out all the way back in June. Baby Driver, doing great numbers. And then there's, of course, the movie that I've been harping on people to see, The Big Sick, which is that Kumail Nanjiani movie. Your best bet really is holdovers. Your best bet is really movies that have come out already, been out for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? They might be at the second run theaters and stuff like that, so you might get a chance to go see those. But that's it. I mean, there's not a lot of stuff out right now, and there's not a lot of stuff that's coming out, I mean, in terms of stuff that really is worth seeing, in my opinion, or at least, we'll see. I mean, of course, last year I was really spoiled. I liked the hell out of that movie War Dogs with Jonah Hill and Miles Teller last month. That did kind of middling reviews, didn't really get a lot of good buzz and stuff like that. I loved it. I thought it was great. August is good for a couple surprises, but there's no superhero movie right now. I would argue Valerian. It probably wouldn't have done much better, but I would argue Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, which came out last week, which was rivaling Dunkirk. I wish that EuropaCorp would have tried to strike a deal, and try to get that movie to come out, this week. It would be a great send-off for the summer. Instead, they kind of screwed themselves. They released it the same week as Dunkirk. Then it got nailed by Girls Trip 2, which did great business and is still doing really well. Then the Emoji Movie, which, like it or not, is doing pretty decently as well. And then Atomic Blonde. So Valerian, for lack of a better term, got its butt kicked when it should have come out this week.